Hello and welcome to another episode of the Business of Business podcast. I'm your host, Roy. I'm going to try something a little bit different today. I'm going to be talking about, we're going to do another a mini series like we have done in the past. We're going to do this one on LinkedIn. Have a lot of, had a lot of people, a lot of interest. A lot of people haven't had to really use and rely on LinkedIn as they have to now, either trying to go back to work or being out of a job and having to look for their first time, or some people actually starting a business. So there are a lot of great reasons to use LinkedIn. We're going to title the series "How to Use LinkedIn to Your Advantage: A Step-by-Step Guide." And this one, first one we're going to talk about is completing your profile. Also, like to say that LinkedIn, it's like a lot of marketing strategies. It's a long-term play. Sometimes you can get on there one day and do one thing and get lucky and get some response. But for the most part, this is going to be uh, a continual strategy, what you can do, your efforts every day that lead up to bigger successes, and then just continuing these activities because that way we can uh, actually get the benefit of doing things over time. So we just have to get the manage our expectations that this isn't going to be a, hey, I want to get a new job today, so I'm going to sign on to LinkedIn and make it happen, or I'm going to go out and prospect for some consumers. So anyway, just take that mindset. What we're going to try to do here is help give you daily activities that can help you start this process and get going with putting LinkedIn to work for you to help, whatever your goal is. Everybody has such different goals. The other thing too, everybody has an opinion on how things should be done, just like in marketing and advertising and sales, everybody has a little twist. So what I'm going to do is go over the main components. And then what I would suggest is that, to maybe do a little research, tailor this for your needs. Are you, like I said, are you just wanting to, if you're currently employed or have a business and you just want to get on here just to start building your following, building those relationships, that's good. You may want to take one approach where if you're a job seeker or if you're a business, new or existing business that's using this to try to acquire prospects and customers, then of course you may want to twist a little bit different. So, but anyway, this is also going to be pretty visual. So if you're listening on the podcast, you may want to take a few minutes and go over to YouTube at some point, and I'm going to share my screen and go through my profile. Just kind of go over the big parts of the profile itself and some things that you really need to look for. The first part we'll talk about is this, well, I think they call it the profile picture, or not the background photo. It's the long rectangle one at the top. Choose, if you're in a business or if you want to use your company logo, that's fine. Put something that's relevant to you. It depends again on what you want to use this for, but I always try to uh, stay in that conservative zone. Put something up there that's conservative, that's not going to turn people away immediately. If you go to the little pencil up in the top, it gives you some options to change the photo, to filter, crop it, move it around a little bit. So just find something that you like. And like I said, if you're a business, if you try to have your company logo in there, that's awesome. Of course, then the profile picture, again, lots of thought. Used to it was suit and tie, but now it's more casual. And of course, it depends on the what your goals are. The other thing I've heard in the past is maybe try not to have a background. As you can see, I've got the trees in the background. Excuse me, it does make it a little bit more busier. So yeah, there's ways that you can put that on a white background to make yourself stand out. But it's good to have again, a conservative relative picture. That way people can get an idea of maybe who they're talking with, talking to. Then we come down to, like your headline, um, uh, your location, your connections. And this at the top, they've actually added your most recent company as well as your university at the top. Again, you can just pop this open at the pencil and it's just the general name, headline. Again, this is one of these places that if you ask 10 people, you'll get 10 different advices. But in the headline, if you work for a company, I think it's always worth putting the title in there, and then a little bit about what you do, what you solve for that company. Or if you're a business, you may want to take more the approach of, what can you do for your consumer? What would you solve for them? What value do you add to their operations? Then got your latest education, and then again your region where you're located at, and mine's still an old one in there, and then the industry that you're in as well. So that pretty much rounds that out. If you click this next pencil open, it'll just let you go in there, put all of your websites, contact information, things like that. And again, you can control, how much of this that you want visible to your network. So they do respect your privacy. This is something new that's been added. This little drop down with the open to, you can say that you're open to finding a new job, or that you're opening to hiring if you are hiring recruiter, or if you need somebody at your business. And then you get 2 drop down blocks here where you can go in with a little bit more detail about who you want to see that. The next big category is just the about. I think it's about 240, 50 characters, maybe more than that. But this is a good place to highlight, what you do, and always try to be, what did you accomplish oriented. Back in the old days, we just wanted to put what we were tasked with, what our duties may have been. But nowadays, we want to be sure and put, what are these accomplishments that we've made? If you can put figures on them, that's even better. I increased sales 20%, during this time period, or whatever fits for you. But again, just pop open the pencil and allow you to actually edit that. The featured section is next. And this just highlights, some things that you've posted. Like this was like an occupancy spreadsheet that I'd made at one time that I put up there. So it just allows you to put some different things that you want to highlight there. Next one is the dashboard. And if you look in the top right hand corner, this will tell you kind of your status based on your the information that you've got filled out. So, and they also will give you a lot of direction. Used to, it's been a while, but used to, on this right hand corner, it would kind of top right hand, it would tell you, what you actually need to do to improve that score. One thing I didn't mention, a couple of things I didn't mention, was that when you first sign up, you can go on and edit your public profile instead of just having a generic, linkedin.com / and something generic. You can actually put your name or whatever you want to appear there. That way it makes it easy for you to remember when somebody asks you, for your LinkedIn, or if you're looking for employment and you want to put your LinkedIn profile on your resume, or if you put it in an email, make it easier for you to remember. The other thing you can do, I can't find it on the desktop. I think you have to go into your the app on the phone, but you can also record your name, how it's pronounced. My name, of course, isn't quite that difficult, but if you have a difficult name, it's always good to go over there and put it on. That way people can listen to the pronunciation. And it's good to, if you don't know how to pronounce somebody's name, go over there and listen to it for just take a couple extra seconds. That way you get the pronunciation right. So in this section, we have our dashboard. It'll tell you about how many views you've had, how many times you appeared in searches and post views. If you subscribe to the LinkedIn professional version, I'm not sure the pricing on that anymore, but if you subscribe to that, you do get a lot more insights into activities on your profile. I think you can see even who's looking at it, things like that. So the next category is your activities. This is just a highlight of all of your activities. This is also good to know if you know somebody that posted something, because I've had this happen before. So like, I know, John Smith posted something I really wanted to see on his LinkedIn profile, but it's already passed me by in the feed. You can actually go to their profile and look at this activity and go find what you're looking for. Just kind of a shortcut there. This next big block is experience. And of course, we want to put our latest job in there first. And we just want to be, again, very conscious of the timing, the start and end dates. We want to make sure we get that correct. So if somebody does, run some checks on you, that they'll match up with what the employer may say. Also here, you get a little snapshot of, what you do at that company. Again, if we can stay away from task and try to go with accomplishments, and if we can quantify that, even better. But we want to list those in order. And my thing, we have a lot of people sweat over gaps in service for different reasons. But you know what, I think if it's something that's explainable. So instead of trying to cover it up or hide it, just be honest, put it on there, tell your story. A lot of times people have very interesting stories that they're trying to hide, and sometimes it makes you even more appealing to employers, for sure. I know, I had, excuse me, a gentleman on the show not long ago that, he took off 6 months and went on some hiking over in Africa, I think. And, he had been told that it would kill his career from then on. And basically, when he came back, he inserted it in, his timeline on his resume and on his LinkedIn. And he said that people were more interested. They'd be like, yeah, I know that you've marketed for this company, but let's talk about this trip. He said, everybody asked him about that trip and was interested. So people are interested not only in your skill set, but your attitude, but also what are your extracurricular activities that you may do for something like that. It's very important. It's also a great way to connect with people. But so anyway, don't be scared of gaps. You can explain them. But anyway, just fill this out. Going on down, our next part we come to is the education. Again, highest degrees, latest schooling, or first, and then work your way backwards. Then we have the licensing and certifications. And then here again is the volunteer experience. And even if you don't have a gap in your employment that you need to highlight, this is a great place to put things of interest to you. If you've worked for another organization, something that you may have taken action for is volunteer experience. And then down here, this we'll get to it in a minute, where your some of your and I'll just skip down there right now. Some of your interests, you'll be able to put them down here at the bottom as well. So that's always good. This next section under our volunteer experience is our skills and endorsement. They do allow you to take different skill quizzes. So especially if you're going to be looking for a job, it's always advisable to go take as many skill quizzes as you can. Over here, you can add skills that you have, and then other people can endorse them for you. So go on and add some skill sets that you have. Then this next part is recommendations. And I have to admit that I haven't been too aggressive at approaching, trying to get those, but it is a good idea. We always would rather other people tell other people how good we are versus us having to tell people how good we are. So go over here, ask for some recommendations from people that you've worked with, people that you've worked for, people that have worked for you, but it's always good to have a few of those on there. This is accomplishments. You can choose publications, organizations, projects, honors, awards, test scores, language, organization. Put anything in there that you feel would make you stand out from the crowd. And then, of course, this last box is interest. This is just different companies, different areas of interest that we may have that we can put on there. So anyway, here's an ad at the top button. You'll see this add profile section. We'll see if I'm missing any. I think we've pretty much there's some like the additional information, supported languages. There are other things that you can add that I don't have. So anyway, it's always good just to go on there, see, what's available. Make sure that if you need to turn a box on, that you get it turned on. And yeah, because your profile is shareable. You can save it to a PDF. You can send it in a profile message to other people. So this is something good to keep up. And like I said, it's not an overnight fix, I don't think. I think it's a long-term approach. We want to get on here. We want to learn to be active. We want to connect with other people. We'll go over in some of the next episodes that we have. We'll go over, what are some next steps that we need to do. But first thing, take a few minutes, get your profile in order. Go on Google and do some research for each one of the sections to see, try to get some best practices from some other people that do this every day, and, tweak it to what your goal is. Like I said, is it just to start networking? Is it to get a job? Is it maybe to try to acquire some prospects and customers out of this? But again, it's a long-term play. So let's be sure and get started. Even if you've got a job and you feel like things are pretty good, it never hurts to keep up with your LinkedIn, because the thing is, sometimes you never know when you're going to need it. And if we're always keeping it up to date, posting and doing some different things, then you'll have a presence on there. So if you did need to go out and try to acquire a job, it would make it a little easier. So anyway, that's going to do it for our first episode of how to use LinkedIn to your advantage. A step-by-step guide and completing your profile was this one. I think next time we're going to talk about starting to acquire some connections on here, how we go about doing that, and what are some best practices there. So until next time, you can find us, of course, at www.thebusinessofbusinesspodcast.com. We're on all the major social media networks, and this will be up on YouTube when this episode goes live as well. So until next time, take care of yourself and take care of your business.